Well, hello people, this is Gary with Ruff RV Life. We like looking at freedom. Where has freedom brought us? Well, we are at the Great Sand Dunes National Park, and we are staying here at the Great Sand Dunes Oasis RV Campground. And we're doing this intro in the car because the wind is whipping. We like looking at freedom every mile we roll, traveling this great country in old rough road. Down the road we go, in old rough road. But here it is. That's the restaurant, and there's the little store. That's where you check in and get your hang tag and go to your camping site. Now there's 20 RV campsites, and we're gonna go show you about these tour these campsites here.
And if you look up on that hill, you can see the tops of the RVs, and beyond that are the cabins.
Yes, and you can also rent the big old skateboard looking things that you can go, what do they call it? Sand sledding or
sandboarding?
Sandboarding up at the dunes, which seems to be the popular pastime here.
Yes. And there's gift store, ice cream, anything you'd want in there. And you stop here to register. Really nice folks there. But book early if you want to come here, because they opened in May and quickly we're full.
Like I said, there's only 20 RV campsites, and they are pretty close together. There is a lodge. There's a lot of tent camping out here, though.
Ton of tent camping.
Yeah, if you just want to tent camp, there's lots of tent camping.
And I saw a Class C at one of those sites. So if you can, it's all dirt road like this, gravel. And I mean, the roads aren't bad. And there are places that if you wanted to, you know, have a small camper or something up there, you could. I don't know what the rules are. I don't know how much it costs, but I'll put that down in the notes. I'll also put a link to this park, Great Sand Dunes Oasis.
Yep.
Yes.
And you're going to come up here. You're only going to bounce your way up here anyway.
So straight ahead, as we're bouncing, are the cabins.
So we'll go that way.
Primitive cabins.
Yep.
And the campground's right there to the left.
That big yellow thing is your dumpster. Obviously, I guess.
And all out through those trees beyond is where the campground is. And they have group campsites too.
There's your cabins. You got your mountain view.
Yeah, it's very nice.
They have trails if you want to walk up those mountains. Now the bathroom is
off to the left. I'll catch that on the way back.
Right.
Because you can, it's a great overview of the campground. And you are assigned a site. So this is the lodge here to the left. And they also rent, so I don't know if they're related to the other place, because they rent the sandboards too.
Yep.
You can see the wind blowing out there. Makes it very hard for videoing and talking. I don't know if there's a microphone that could get through this. And there is like a little trail here that goes through here. And walking your dogs around the primitive campground is nice. There are pokey things out there. So out through here, you can see you might be able to see a picnic table here and there. And that is where the campground is. We're gonna bump on up here a little bit more, and we'll turn around at one of these campsites. And we went for a nice dog walk here this morning, and I walked the whole entire loop, none of the inner loops, and it was 1.25 miles. So nice dog walking area. one is to the left. And this is the inner loops. There you go, primitive. There is, I believe, a bathroom up here somewhere. There's a campsite there. If you could. So like I was saying, like if you have a van or something like that, there's a van right out through there. And the Class C I saw wasn't a small one, it wasn't a giant one. And there are no numbers, so I can't even give you numbers. They're just out here. Oh, here's the bathroom right here, I believe. It's supposed to be water available. There you go. So there's loops within loops within loops here, but it's all kind of like this. You're tucked up in the trees. You've got the mountain behind you. Nice background. Very nice. There we go. So that's a peek at the primitive area if you're interested in that. Very nice dog walk area. Because you can see the dunes straight ahead. So pretty. See the campsites are off to the side. Both sides, group camps off to the right. There's a couple more sides. That was where the Class C was, I think, right there. Just back right up to it. There are lots of trails around here. If you want to stretch your legs, if you want to try walking in the sand, well, you can do that too. Showers are this way, bathhouse is at the RV campground. Now, I don't know what the story is on those RVs right there. I don't know if they're for rent or if they're workers, but they're set up like they're for rent. They're in there permanently, lodges down there. If I find out, I'll put that in notes.
Snowboards and sand sleds. Okay.
Yeah, snowboards, sand sleds. That must be what they're called. All right, now here's the RV park. This is a great way to tour it. So I think 20 is on the end down there. Did you say there's 20 sites? It's got to be more than 20.
I think 20 starts down there.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay, well then I have no clue.
Yeah, we're in the middle right there. We're 10. There's a playground over there.
Yep, so, all right, I don't know what the numbers are. Maybe what Gary said, but you'll see they're kind of close together, but I've seen closer. You've got a nice view of the sand dunes. There's Ruff Road right there, site 10. Oh, you can see the numbers. How about is one that way?
Why would you doubt me?
No. Oh yeah, I see what you are correct.
I know, the giant brain is always correct.
But there you go. That empty site is site 13. And then 14, 15 where the momentum is. 15.
16 at the Genesis, 17 at the North Point, 18 at the GeoPro, and then 19 and 20 are empty.
But the good news is these are close together and that we have had some crazy winds, and we can hear the wind, but I think it would be a lot worse. I think the RVs were sheltering us a little bit, which is nice. And you have this nice view of the dunes.
And they're all pull-throughs.
Yes. Full hookups, grill, picnic table, water, sewer. And they assign your site. So, but I love that they have these trees here too. That's nice. Some of them do. Not all of them have a tree. You can see how tightly they're fitted in here. And you can also see why it books up. There aren't many sites here.
20.
Yep. Look at the little tab. Well, it's called something else.
A little boondock light.
New camp. Cute. We looked at those. We did look at those.
There's site 1 and 2 up close.
Yep. Site 1's on the end down here.
And there's the big pile of dirt out there in the horizon.
And there's a peek at the lodge right up there in the mountains. I mean, you're definitely, scenery is stunning here. Zapata Falls is 4 miles up the road, right? Isn't it like 4 miles?
Yeah, something like that. There's a little playground.
That's beautiful. Yep. Kids have been riding their bikes around here, so even though it's small, they've got all this area to ride their bikes. And there's the bathhouse, showers.
Yeah, we got neighbors since we left.
So there we go. And we're back to home base. Right here at Site 10 and Ruff Road. And the Doggers.
So that was our tour of Great Sand Dunes Oasis RV Park. And as you saw, it's the sites are close together, but we do have full service and 50 amp. And you're only 4 miles from the visitor center at the Great Sand Dunes National
Park and Preserve.
And then right past the visitor center, maybe a couple miles down the road, is the road that goes to the parking lot and the entrance to the Great Sand Dunes, that you can go and spend as much time there as you want. I think in this little brochure we got here, it gives some of the times it takes to climb some of the sand dunes.
You can get this at the visitor center, but it's the visitor guide, and it does tell you if you have 2 or 3 hours to do this.
You can spend a couple of hours or 5 or 6 hours, depending on how high you want to go. And of course, the sandboarding. You see a lot of people sandboarding.
And they rent them right down
here. And there was the creek, the Mendino Creek, that flowed at the flat part of the bottom. Sometimes it flows more than other times of the year. But there was a lot of people down there with kids building like the beach, little castles in the sand, and
splashing around and whatnot.
In the cool water. Dogs were out there. People set up with chairs and little canopies and just picnic and spend the day there, because there is a big day use area there. And that, of course, that is the highlight of coming here, is the Great Sand Dunes.
Right.
There are some hiking trails around going up these mountains. I guess as high as you want to go.
Yeah.
There's a lake up at the top of one of them at Zapata Falls.
I know, and you can also do some backcountry camping. You can backpack and spend the night.
Yeah, we got the cabins, they got the lodge, and over in that area they got a lot of primitive camping sites. Of course, you have the park inside the
what is it called?
Pinon. P-I-N with the little thing over it. O-N. Pinon.
Pines.
But it's there's no electric there, so it's a primitive.
And it's full.
Campground.
Like every day when we go into the park to visit and check it out and hike and whatnot, campground full, campground full, campground full.
Right. Now to go from here to Alamosa, it's a solid 30-minute drive. It's an easy drive, but it's a 30-minute drive.
Yeah.
You could go back to Fort Garland. I believe there's a little mom and pop grocery store there and a Dollar General, and also the fort. But anyway, so there's things to do in this area beside the sand dunes.
And we stayed at base camp, which was a nice little spot, and we were a little closer to those things, and this one gets us closer to the sand dunes.
Right.
But as you can see right here, behind us. Now, I do have to back up and say,
Okay.
now we were saying campground full, campground full, campground full. This campground has been full. I don't know what's going on here. we don't have anybody on this side of us, and it's the first time since we got here 3 days ago on a Monday. So it wasn't the weekend or anything like that. It had just been busy. And when I did go to make reservations here, I could only get 3 nights.
Right.
We wanted to stay longer, which is why we ended up at base camp, because I could only get 3 nights here. So book early.
You blink your eye, there's only 20 sites here, and it could be full up in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it's not very big. So.
And with this campground right down here, there's a country store. There's a store where you can rent the boards. They have gas pumps out there, but all they got is 85 and 87 octane. Gift shop, and then the restaurant next to it is open from 7 to 3 or 8 to 3.
I think it's 8, but the hours are going to vary, because right now they're closing early. I think a few days a week they're open till 5, but they're just closing early because they can't find enough staff. So just check the hours when you get here. But there is a gift shop down there. You can rent the sandboards or whatever they're called, and the restaurant is there. Hummingbirds we saw flitting around, and
saw some deer.
You can sit out on the deck, and it's nice. Yes, we did see some deer down at the dunes, and that was kind of cool.
Right.
I hiked where there might be mountain lions, well, where there are mountain lions, but I never saw one. And I was looking too, like up on the rocks. It's definitely where, from the cartoons, where you'd see a mountain lion jump down.
Yeah, I put a piece of deer meat in her backpack, but
I
she
made
still
it
didn't
back.
see a mountain lion come.
No, and I went way up the Mosca Pass. I didn't have time to do the whole thing, but I went about halfway up it, and it's really pretty, really scenic, especially on the way back looking out.
So I guess our Verizon service here was good.
Yeah, it had a couple moments, but
overall it was okay.
Overall okay.
So the entrance to this is off of 160 going, I guess, what way toward Alamosa?
So 160 is that way, is all I know.
Going that way toward Alamosa.
Well, this is east of Alamosa.
Okay.
So we're east, Alamosa's west of us. Now, we didn't mention, because we went when we were staying at base camp, but Zapata Falls is that way, and it's a nice short hike, and you can see the falls, and it's really nice.
Right.
And even Mr. D gave it a thumbs up.
Yeah, I did it.
He did it.
So you got falls, you got dunes, you got a lake way up there, and you got hiking trails, and so there's stuff to do. Or you can drive 30 minutes into Alamosa, and it's a big city. Do stuff up there.
One word though, there is a San Luis, used to be a state park, but now it's a Colorado wildlife area.
Something wildlife area, which you have to have a permit for.
Yeah, and so if you have a fishing light, we were going to go there, and this is why I know. We have a Colorado State Park pass, but no, that will not work. We have to every person over 16 has to have a hunting license or a fishing license or the park pass for the day, which is $9. So we didn't go there, and Gary didn't fish there. There just was no time, but just know that is not a state park, and a state park pass will not work. But it has a lake, and there's a couple of reservoirs back towards 162 that you could check out.
So with all that being said,
there's a lot to do in this area is what I'm saying. There's so much to do. We have been in this area a total of 8 days, right? 8 nights, and we've done a lot. We're busy. In fact, we're about to go out and play now, so it's definitely worth a stay. Book early.
Now we're going to wrap this up, and click like and subscribe. This is Gary and Sharon. The dogs are asleep until we walk through that door, then they're going to be up because it's their time to walk. Safe travels. See you on the road. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.